Dylan's Dilemma. Dylan's Dog Squad. Book 1.
Breakfast of Champions!
Mom called. Dylan rolled over and rested his muzzle on Casey's shoulder. Casey pulled the pillow over his face.
Get the pillow off your face, Casey. Hustle.
Dylan's stomach growled, and he slapped Casey's chest with his paw.
Breakfast of Champions,
Mumbled Casey from under the pillow.
is Mom's way of announcing breakfast.
He tossed the pillow on the floor and yawned.
I get the breakfast part. I don't get the champions part, but if it means food, let's go.
Remember when I said Mom has a children's book company?
Casey scratched Dylan's snout.
She's always quoting a dead author. Breakfast of Champions is something Kurt Vonnegut said.
Who?
Don't try to figure it out.
Casey sat up and threw the blanket back.
Just know we've got 15 minutes to get downstairs for breakfast.
He pulled Dylan off the bed and put him on the floor.
Mom's kinda nuts about this whole reading, writing thing, but she's a great cook. Ready?
Dylan barked and charged ahead. Last night she'd grilled steak, and he couldn't get enough of it. When they walked by the kitchen, Mom was stirring something yummy smelling on the stove. Dylan pranced in place.
What's for breakfast?
Dylan sniffed and tried to guess.
No clue, but I hope it's for me.
Only one way to find out. He started into the kitchen. Casey grabbed Dylan's collar and steered him toward the dining room.
Cheese omelet with hash browns. Orange juice and blueberry muffins are on the table.
Why can't I have cereal loaded with sugar like other kids?
Are you nuts? I love cheese.
Mom ignored Casey.
I did some research on commercial dog food.
The fridge opened and shut.
It's filled with crude fiber. That's another way of saying manufacturers are cleaning up the slaughterhouse floors by creating inferior products and passing them along to unsuspecting
Thanks,
consumers.
Mom. Great breakfast conversation.
Casey pulled out a chair. Dylan hopped onto it.
Nice try.
Casey put Dylan on the floor and dropped into the chair. A rattle of plates came from the kitchen.
There ought to be a law against it.
Here she goes. Next, she'll want Jonah to write about it.
Who?
I'm gonna ask Jonah to write about it.
Told you.
Casey downed some orange juice.
Jonah is an investigative reporter. Exposes crime and stuff like that, just like my dad did.
Dad?
Casey tapped Dylan on the shoulder and held out something like cake.
Do you like blueberry muffins?
Maybe.
Dylan started to nibble but couldn't help himself and gulped it down. Casey laughed.
Watch the fingers.
Is Dylan eating a muffin?
Casey wiped the crumbs off his shorts.
No.
Any more muffins?
Anyway, Dad and Jonah were in El Salvador on a story, and their plane was hijacked. Dad didn't make it.
That's sad.
Dylan put his muzzle on Casey's lap and snuffled for crumbs. The kid was a slob.
I was little and don't really remember him.
Casey reached for another muffin and broke it apart, raining crumbs down on Dylan. Dylan shook the crumbs out of his ears and then licked them off the floor.
Here you go.
Mom came in and placed a plate in front of Casey. After putting a placemat on the floor, she set a dish of scrambled eggs topped with cheese in front of Dylan.
Careful, it's hot.
Dylan dove in anyway. The eggs were fluffy and the cheese was gooey. Not like the rubbery stuff Aiden bought at the convenience shop in South Korea.
Life is looking up.
I hope you enjoyed this audition. My name is Malcolm Griot.